Why should someone pick up a copy of Loyal to the Core?
Because I just want to emphasize how important it is for somebody in this country to stick to small C conservative principles. We need some kind of organization, we need some kind of leader to provide a voice for conservatism. The NCC did that to great effect and great success in the 1970s, 1980s, and 1990s. And I think we need to go back to that. We need to have some kind of organization which speaks to what conservatives want to hear these days.
Okay, so Gerry, when you're thinking loyalty, what are you referring to?
Talking about loyalty to a couple of things. Loyalty to the conservative movement in Canada, loyalty to certain principles, and loyalty to the legacy of Colin Brown, who was the creator of the National Citizens Coalition. I think it's important that somebody stand up for what he was trying to do.
Who's Colin Brown?
Colin Brown, Sr., was the founder of the National Citizens Coalition. He was a successful London Life insurance salesman who decided to take a stand for freedom in the late 1960s. When everyone else was promoting socialism, he said, wait a minute, something's happening to this country's tradition, something's happening to this country's values. So he decided to do something about it. He started placing his own ads in newspapers, both freedom and free enterprise, and he called it a hobby that went berserk. And it ended up creating the National Citizens Coalition.
The subtitle of your book talks about Stephen Harper, me, and the NCC. Obviously, the interest for a lot of readers is going to be about Stephen Harper. What is it you want people to know about Stephen Harper in relationship to yourself and the NCC?
Well, one of the things I want to do with this book is sort of remind people what Stephen Harper was like before he became Prime Minister of Canada, what he was like when he was running the National Citizens Coalition. In those days, he was a true conservative. He was a hard ideologue, in fact. And I want to remind people about that and let people know what it was like to work with as an individual and as a person. And just to relate some of the stories of what it was like to work with Stephen.
Are you saying that he changed? You can look at me right now.
Well, yeah, and that's the other reason for the book. When Stephen Harper went back into partisan politics and left the NCC, something about Stephen changed. The Stephen Harper we see now is not the Stephen Harper I knew. The Stephen Harper I worked with for 5 years at the National Citizens Coalition. And, I started speaking out against him. He was my friend, he was my colleague, he was my former boss. But when I was at the NCC, I felt I had to speak out for conservatism and speak out for the things Stephen used to believe in.
There. Let me ask you, Gerry, so do you think politics, the nature of politics, forces someone to compromise their principles even though they may totally believe in them? Or do you think that something... there's two ways to look at it. Do you have to compromise, or do you think he's compromised simply for cynical reasons?
I don't think you have to compromise your principles. In fact, when Stephen Harper was at the NCC, one of the things he used to preach was that a conservative party could be successful in Canada by sticking to its principles. And I guess that's what sort of shocked me when he changed so dramatically after he went back into partisan politics. He started playing cynical games, and that's what really confused me. And I guess that's why I want to write this book. I want to sort of outline the cause for conservatism.